Good afternoon, everybody. I have the lovely Poppy Zilla Reid with me, who is one of my ex-clients, but an amazing woman. So tell me a little bit about you, Poppy, or tell the people who are watching a little bit about what you do now.
Well, okay, so what I do now has changed slightly, thanks to Charli. So I used to teach yoga full-time and occasionally give Reiki treatments, although that wasn't the bulk of my career, it was mostly yoga. And I was really missing something creative, and I didn't know quite, actually I didn't know what I was missing until I started working with Charli. I just knew that there was something that could be done to help, move my career forwards and be happier in it. And so I wanted to move into something a bit more creative, and I guess working with Charli gave me the step up to be able to do that. And so I now also make jewellery, which I wasn't. There you go. I know I should be wearing some myself, really. I'm really bad.
Earrings.
Self-advertising.
They are beautiful. They are beautiful. Yeah, so when, just going back on that, like when you first started thinking about having a coach, where were you? What was it that sort of drew you to coaching?
I've always really loved the idea of coaching. And I think when I met you, I thought actually that it'd be really lovely to be coached by you. And I think maybe that opportunity just hadn't arisen before, where I'd met someone that I thought I could put my trust in for coaching. And it just so happened, as many things happen like this in your life, I guess, that there was a little bit of serendipity in that, perhaps. That it was kind of at a time when I felt that maybe I needed some guidance career-wise. And then I met you and I thought, actually, you know, that came about in quite a random way, didn't it?
It did.
It wasn't like I'd sort of sought you out as a coach. It was, but it just so happened that it kind of went that way. And I feel incredibly lucky that it did happen that way. But it came at the right time. So it hadn't been that I'd thought, okay, I definitely need coaching, although that had been a murmur for some time. And then, met you and thought, oh yeah, that'd be rather good. And it was rather good.
Well, I feel very lucky too, because Poppy was the first person really that I met when I moved to North Norfolk, and was my yoga teacher for a while. And I had to travel 20 minutes to get to a yoga class when I moved to Wales next to sea. And so Poppy was my yoga teacher, and she's an amazing teacher. So what have you found, like, what have you gained clarity around since we started working together?
Well, I think what was quite interesting when I first started, which I remember really distinctly, is that I think I said to you in the first session, I was like, look, this is just career related. This is not like, I'm pretty sorted emotionally.
Yeah, we all are, right?
We all are, totally sorted emotionally. I don't need any help with that. And then, you, in your very lovely way, started asking me these open questions. I was like, oh, right, yeah. It's never just about one thread of your life, is it? The career is tied into so many other aspects of things. So when we started talking, I think we talked around maybe the subject of other things for a while before it clicked that perhaps those things led into maybe not being able to activate certain areas of my career. So the naivety of going into something thinking, this lady's just going to sort my career out, it's absolutely fine. But of course there are loads of other levels. So even, it was like an added bonus in a way. I felt like by the time you and I had finished our coaching sessions, I'd have loved to have continued it for reasons that Charli and I won't go to now. I couldn't really, but you know, I believe it could have continued. I mean, I could still be doing it with you now. Really, I've moved house and I'm quite heavily pregnant now, so it's lots has happened in that time.
Well, it has. What changes have you seen in your life?
Well, definitely from working with you, you know, the direction of things, which actually what's lovely about having been coached by you is that you know, your coach kind of stays with you a little bit. It becomes like the angel on your shoulder. So now when I do things or I make decisions about things, I'm like, now what would Charli say? What would she think? What would she be encouraging? So yeah, I moved from doing yoga full time to starting to dabble in the creative side of things, which is what I realized I was missing through working with you. And you gave me a lot of confidence to be able to do that, because I didn't have any confidence really to do that when I first started talking to you. I just didn't think it was, you know, to give everyone else some background, I didn't have any jewelry qualifications. You know, I hadn't gone to art school, which I could have done, but I didn't. But I had all this creative energy that I didn't know what to do with. And I knew that yoga was feeding one part of my life, but I needed something else. And so, you know, the journey that you took me on led me to realize that I could do that. And I started doing it, and it was a very wobbly start. And I think I probably would have given up sooner had it not been for Charli, really, because I would have just gone, oh no, I'm rubbish at this, and what am I doing? And but you know, you've also been very supportive, as well as being sort of coaching me professionally. I felt your your feminine support as well as your coaching support. So that was really, really helpful. And then it just so happened that lots changed in my life, which I won't bore everyone with, but my partner and I decided to change locations, and as a result I had to sort of give up sadly teaching yoga in the area that I was, and it actually became an opportunity to do the jewelry more full time, which I did. And the coaching with you has actually helped me to come and bring a lot more balance into my life, because now I realize that I can do both the yoga and the jewelry, and it doesn't have to be all one or all the other.
Yes.
So yeah, it's been a journey, which I don't think that journey would have happened as rapidly and as furiously as it did without the coaching. You know, I would have come to it a lot slower, and perhaps without, you know, one of the things when you're self-employed, which I'm sure lots of people find, is that you don't really have anyone to talk to. And it's so easy to get trapped in your own headspace where you're just talking yourself through something. And I said to someone the other day, and it really clicked actually, I said to someone, you know, I wake up in the morning and I have to lift myself. You know, if you go into a job and you arrive at work, you have a thing to do and you do it, and then you leave at the end of the day, and then you know the next day the format is that you go into work and you have these particular things to do. When you're self-employed, especially when you're doing something that so involves you as a person, so whether that be teaching someone or putting your creativity on the line, in terms of, you know, creating something that you hope people are going to love, that comes from a very personal, emotional space.
Yeah. And
so I would wake up in the morning and I have to kind of pep talk myself, if that makes sense.
It makes sense to me.
You know, you have to get yourself into
get up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, you can do it today. And so you have these. I realized when I was talking to this person about it that, you know, how many of my conversations are with myself. And with myself, and, you know, unless you've got a lot of confidence, in, you know, and a lot of that sort of solar plexus energy readily available to you, it's easy to beat yourself up. It's easy to put yourself down. It's easy to stop yourself from doing the things you want to do. So you get in your own way. The minute that you have coaching with someone, or, you know, perhaps for other self-employed people, it's having one or two other people to do collaborations with, or do some, it changes everything, because then you don't have to have the conversation with yourself. And you have someone else there who's professionally able to steer you and to sort of give you that look when you have those negative thoughts that tells you actually you don't need to be thinking those negative things. You can, you know, you have it in yourself to make changes for the positive, you know, charge what you're worth, do what you love, all of those things that if you just have those conversations with yourself, it's a lot. Some people are really good at it, granted, and those people are the people who don't need coaching. But I think the majority of the population. So that's been a huge learning curve for me. And of course, you know, whether my life has changed, it's hard to know. You know, if we went back to day one, if I didn't have the sessions that I had with you, what would be different now? But so much has changed, and you've stuck with me. You know, I would love to be able to do sessions with you, you know, every week like we were. But at least I've had enough sessions with you to have you be my little guardian angel when. Yeah.
Oh, that's so lovely. I was just really struck there when you're talking, like, your light that's always within you, and often we don't see that as, you know, people who work for ourselves. And as you were talking, I was sort of thinking, you know, you've always had that within you, that light and that guidance. And I just wonder what you've seen in yourself that's always been there that you just perhaps didn't know that was there.
I think most people know that it's there, right, for them. But it's just that thing of coming back to when you have to, day in, day out, provide that confidence in yourself. It's easy for you to lose sight of that. And, you know, it's so often that we're such social creatures that need the kind of the context of other people around us, and for you to be the kind of coach that is so, you know, you're very good at, you know, one of the things you're extremely good at is relighting that confidence and yeah, you know, showing me, even it's a daft thing, isn't it? Because even as a yoga teacher, I kind of do this for other people. Yeah. But whether when we turn it around on ourselves, it's so difficult to do that for our own being. I don't know, you know, I'm still struggling as to why that is for people, because it's so easy for me to see it in other people, and I'm sure it's the same for you. You're like, oh God, but if only you could see how brilliant you could be, you know. And I get that all the time with other people, but when it's yourself, it's really hard to do that. So actually having someone there supporting that that language within yourself, you know, that sort of that rhetoric that is actually, it's there and you can access it. Really, really hard thing to do solo. And, you know, that's one of the things you're excellent at, is bringing that, is, you know, it's turning it around and saying, okay, well, how can you access that more readily? It's there for you to take advantage of. How are you going to do it? And those questions made me realise that I was, you know, like you, probably frustratingly looking at other people thinking you could do all these things, but it's just way harder when it's you. So yeah, and I think that's what I meant about you being a sort of guardian angel now. When I have days where I'm like, this is just all too much, you know, I've got you there being like, you know, you're so consistently
this could go one of two ways, right?
no, not in a bad way at all, but you know, like,
I'm joking.
But you are like a big ball of sort of sunshine, you know, that's like pulling the light from me every time I'm like, oh, the darkness. I've got my imaginary Charli going, come here, come this way, things are amazing, you're amazing,
you are amazing.
So yeah.
Well, that's lovely. But you are that light already. You are that amazing sunshine. You are all of that. But thank you for saying that, because that's really nice. It's nice to. It could have gone two ways, right? It could have gone two ways. That's
a reason to have coaching, right? I mean, it's, you know, you say it as if that's something that, you know, it's just not that, for most people it's not that readily available, you know. I only became self-employed 2 years ago, and my partner reminded me of this recently. He's like, you know, you've worked for other people all your life. He's 37, I'm 34. He's been doing it probably 5 more years than I have. And I said, you know, how do you get past this? And he said, the first few years were really, really tough. And so even though you might, you know, we might sort of tell ourselves that, yes, we are those creatures who can feel that inner strength and light from inside us, it's really, really difficult to do. So anyone who's like on the start of that entrepreneurial solo path, actually to have someone that you can talk to weekly or bi-monthly to steer you through it, like, it's invaluable. It actually is invaluable, and it will speed up the process of things for someone so quickly. You know, what you might be able to achieve on your own in a year or 2 years, you might find activates in 3 to 6 months, because you're able to have that dialogue with someone. So it's, you know, it's a hugely, I don't know, I didn't really have any huge expectations from it, because it's not like, as I said from the start, it's not like I'd sought you out specifically at that point. We just met, and it, you know, it just happened to coincide really nicely with lots that you and I were doing. But yeah, I think I would recommend it to anyone, really, at any stage.
Well, I've been an entrepreneur now for, I've been working for myself for 14 years, and I've got a coach, and I believe in the power of coaching. So even at this stage of doing it for many years, it's invaluable to me too. So yeah, I agree.
Do you think you could coach without being coached? You know, do you think it's kind of, I guess what I'm asking is, you know, for me now, we can't do our sessions at the moment, but I would do it all the time.
Well, I find it valuable to have a coach myself, and I think it makes me a better coach if I'm coached, because I know the process, you know, the money mindset, like investing in yourself. I understand all of that, and I see the value in it, and I believe in its power.
Yeah.
And it is like having someone kind of walking beside you as opposed to carrying you, or, you know, it is that sort of someone else can see the light when you are having a bad day or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So, Pops, you have the most new, amazing, it's not new anymore, is it, your jewelry business? Where can people find you online?
So I've just redesigned the website. It's poppyzellareed.com.
poppyzellareed.com. Well, I'll link to that in the comments.
Yeah, so there's probably going to be some changes still, but there's jewelry and yoga combined now. And I do work with I've been trying to combine, well, you know, everything in the well-being space. So a lot of the work that I do, I work in silver and in brass, but I absolutely love working with gemstones and crystals and things that can bring energy to a piece. So the ones that you're wearing at the moment are your Amazonite, which are lovely.
Yeah.
Brass.
I absolutely love these guys. So yeah.
Those were one of the first things I ever made.
I know, and I get so many compliments about these, and I'm like, yeah, Poppy.
Oh. But I think, yeah, rather than just doing pieces that are just, I mean, the metals have their own qualities, but rather than just using metal, there's always usually a stone involved in that. And that can, sometimes I do it on a thematic thing. So, you know, this month I'm working with stones that are to do with balance, because it has been, actually it changes today, but it has been Libra month. So sometimes it's to do with seasonal things or astrological things, but then sometimes if it's for particular people, then I'm choosing stones that are to do with either their journey ongoing. So I've had commissions for people who have got, you know, in the middle of changing their life. So looking at stones to support new beginnings and things. So I do commission-based stuff, but yeah, there's usually always some kind of energetic quality to the work that I'm doing. I'm really not just making pieces. I'm trying to make something that for the wearer is either going to support or take them somewhere or nourish or whatever it be. And that's really through the crystals.
Yeah, that's amazing, Pops. Really amazing.
So that's it really. So yeah, you've got your lovely turquoise green Amazonite.
And I've got a necklace, and my mum's got her homemade for her 70th.
She's got aventurine, I think.
Yeah, and that was also really beautiful. And my friend's also got the moon necklace. So yeah, I'll be coming to you again, like when we've done this interview, because Christmas is coming.
Get in there quick.
Yeah.
Before the baby arrives.
When are you due?
2 weeks' time.
Oh, it's so exciting.
It is. I was expecting it to be out by now, so come on.
I remember with my son, like thinking he was going to be early, and yeah, he was late. But the 1st of May, I just loved that he was born on the 1st of May.
Yeah, it's so lovely.
But yeah,
how late was he?
2 days, I think, and I was so annoyed in the end. Like, just get out.
I know. Everyone said that you get to that stage, and I haven't really realised it until now. I'm like, I'm so over this now.
Yeah, I can't move. I'm swelling every day.
Just. Oh dear.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Poppy. It's been so lovely to talk to you, and I think this interview will really help quite a lot of people as well. Anyway, in this, you know, who may feel in a similar place. So thank you so much for your time.
Really, thank you for everything.
And I will. I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah. See you soon.
Take care. Bye.